So if you're watching this video, just chillax, put it on big screen, don't get distracted by the videos in your sideline. Just sit with me for 5 to 10 minutes and you will get the most out of this video. And what I want to say is that if you're not consciously building a path or creating a path for yourself, there will be assigned a path to you. Now, before you think, no, whatever I'm doing is really my choice and this is 100% the life that I want to lead and everything I did up until this point was a choice by me, I'm going to explain to you later why I think that's not the case and why it wasn't the case for me. And I'll start by saying that example. So currently I'm in Peru traveling for I don't know how long because I teach online. I teach Dutch classes to people in Belgium. I also create YouTube videos as I'm doing right now. I don't make any money of that, so I mainly live off of savings and of making money by teaching people that live in Belgium and want to learn Flemish or Dutch. Now, this life wasn't laid out for me. It's very obvious if you think about it. Who does this without putting a lot of conscious and focused effort and action into this? I think almost nobody. My life a couple of years ago was like this. At 18, let's start before that because it might make it a bit more recognizable for you. From 12 years old, like everything was good, up until 14, 15 when puberty started. Puberty started, I was rock bored, solid bored, I don't know how to say it, at school. Every day was super boring. I thought a lot about it, why, and should I be more grateful, but I just cannot say that anything else than I was bored to the gills. Every day I entered, I was bored. The teachers were not super engaging. I'm not saying this is all their fault, but I'm just describing how I now think about it. The content was not engaging. There wasn't any explanation as to why it should be useful to learn. You just learned it because you had to. There was no real connection with the real world, like with the everyday life. It's like you came home and you did everything else differently than whatever they taught you at school. There was no link whatsoever. They didn't talk about sleep. They didn't talk about stress. They didn't talk about how to form a life that you love. They didn't talk about emotional intelligence. They didn't talk about whatever might be useful in the everyday life. No, they talked about old Dutch texts, economic principles that you have to study but that nobody uses, mathematical insights that I didn't really use, and more about the school system later. I do think it has some merit, it's not all bad. It allows you to see what you find interesting and try to build a life upon that. But back to the story. So then I got into trouble in school because I was bored. So I always got into trouble because I lacked impulses. Like I lacked the feeling that I was alive. So I started doing bad things, partly for recognition of my parents and also partly to just have more fun. Because what does a dog do when it's bored? It gets into trouble. You have to give people a decent task or they will get into trouble. We have an urge to do something, and if you don't have something logical to do, you'll get into trouble, usually. So then at 18, you have to choose. And because you misbehaved so well the last previous years, you have to choose something that is even less challenging because people, of course, think that, oh, you didn't really do your effort. You weren't really a good student. Let's have you do something that is less hard because you will not be able to do it. The reason why I didn't study much was not because I was just a bad student. Well, in their eyes, it was just because I'm bored as hell. The same happened in high school. I was also bored and I really didn't know what to do with my life. I just studied international management because then I could travel, read between the lines, then I could go out and drink and at least do something else than studying something that I don't want to do and that I'm only studying to be able to do a job that I don't even know if I will like. Because if you ask everyone whether you get a degree, it's like an entrance ticket to a job. Like, sure, I kind of get it, but I also kind of don't. And then up until 18, you start working and you start to realize, wow, everything I studied up until now really doesn't interest me. I find this boring as hell. what do I do now? And here's where it can get very interesting for you. For a lot of people, that life that then happens, like you studied something, you buy a house, you start working a job, you start, I don't know, like, hopefully you like it. I genuinely mean that. Hopefully you like it. For a lot of people, that is okay. And I am okay with that too. I'm not looking down on that. That's okay for me too. Like, I wish everyone in this life could be happy with a life like that. But you're watching this video probably because you're not happy with that life. Chances are big that you want more than just the logical path. Now, how do you start with that? Not by finding the big solution, not by finding this big thing like, oh, what do I need to do that will propel me into success? Or what do I need to find or need to learn that will give me this huge success? Don't get me wrong, you might learn something that will give you immediate success, but it's just the wrong mindset to get into. So, how do you find it? By starting small. That is also how I found this. And if I talk to people, they always did this thing. They started small. And small in the sense of most people that are super successful didn't start, how can I be super successful? Some of them, sure. And I get into another video why I don't think that's a good way to get into life. But most of them just did what they liked. They documented it in some way. And success was a byproduct of them doing what they really liked rather than success being the main objective of whatever they were doing. You know, success comes second, doing first. And a lot of people, when they think about how do I create a life that I want, they put success first and doing second. So, start really small. And with that, I mean, disconnect from all the noise, because I'm pretty sure that if you watch a lot of videos and you're really finding something that you want to feel productive in, you might have been influenced by a lot of people that you know. In my case, Dan Coe, and I really wanted to be like him. Because if you don't know what you want, you will look at someone else and you will think that is what you want. And there might be a part of it in it that's true, like certain elements that you might want from that life, but it's not completely that. Like, imagine, how can you want exactly the same thing like Dan Coe? His lifestyle is the result of an iteration of trying things out, of failing, like literally following a path. It would be super coincidental that your path is exactly the same, or that it would lead to exactly the same spot. It could be, but just think about it. It's not really logical. So start small. What interests you? What as a child has always interested you? What do you like to do in your free time? What doesn't feel like work? Traveling, for me, it brings me to life. And stray away from concepts. If in your head it's like, oh, but traveling, so many people do that, I will never get successful traveling, you're already getting it back into that wrong frame of mind. You get it? You're putting success before the action. Right? You're already putting success in front of the action. So then, start small. What do you like? You can even pull up a ChatGPT prompt and ask, based on my current situation, this is who I am, this is what I always liked, this is what I disliked. What is something that I can do? But please keep in mind that action comes first, success second. So that he or she, whatever it is, also keeps that in mind. That's how I started teaching. Because I always thought, I don't like this job. How will I get another job? Let me think thoroughly about what I'm good at. I like talking. I like explaining things. And I'm not afraid of being in front of people. Teaching. And suddenly my whole environment was like, yeah, of course, teaching, very good. But when I was studying for the thing that I originally was planning to do, when I said I want to be like something else, no, you have a master's degree, why would you change? Like, people are just going to advise whatever sounds logical in their head. So please follow yourself. You can't take advice from others, but your intuition is far more worth and far more useful in this sense. Start super small. I'm going to repeat it until you get it. What do you like to do? What are you good at? What you're naturally attracted towards? Write that down. Look it up. Don't overthink it. Don't watch 10 other videos on this topic, because this is genuinely the only thing that you'll have to do. Then I will also have other videos to talk about how to continue once you're in this stage. But if you already find something that you like and you're already doing that, you're so much more steps closer to success, even though that shouldn't be the goal. but you're so much more closer to success already. And just as a last thing to finish this off, look at this like a search, like a search for something. Don't look at it from like a plan, a linear plan. If something failed or you did something or you got back into a mindset that put success first, like see it not as, oh, I failed. Just adjust your course. Like this is all a path. This is all part of it. This is not like try this and then get messed up. No, this is like you have to see it as one long path. You're just exploring new things as you go. You'll have to maybe fail 500 times to realize that the 505th one was the right thing. And don't get discouraged. It won't be that much, but you get the point. And a practical thing, put a reminder every Sunday, because there's just so much noise in this world that you will eventually forget about what I said and get sucked back into or the path of least resistance or just in a state of mind that puts success first. Like, remember that this is how it should be. You need to be able to come back to a place to have a peace of mind so you can start building from that place. And yes, sometimes you will get lost, but if you return to it and remember why you're doing the things that you're doing, searching a path that is true to you, doing things that you genuinely like, cutting out the noise in your life with the goal of then letting your body be able to guide you more towards what you really want, letting dopamine do its work, then you're in a better spot of creating what you actually want. So choose consciously, take small action steps, start small, can be cleaning your room, whatever. Give yourself space to look, and the path doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be right for you. It just needs to be consciously made by you instead of laid out by someone else.